Yeah. What kind of anxiety? Like, how was it just, could you not function? Was it hard? Was it just always present?
It was in middle school. If I talked in middle school, I would blush and turn bright red enough where the teacher would point it out and say, I remember I had a teacher point it out and she goes, see how his face is red? In anyone else, that would be an indication that he is sick or having a seizure.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it was, there was definitely some bullying that happened from kids or adults. But I think I also, that's when I kind of latched onto comedy, was when we moved. But I had an older brother who was pretty good at sports, so I kind of hung in on sports. But I would say, the reason I started doing stand-up, when I moved to New York, I got a job in advertising as an account guy. And the guy and in those settings, I would get really nervous and flustered when I would speak. And so someone suggested I take improv. And so I took improv to deal with some of this public speaking anxiety. And then someone dared me to do stand-up. I always wanted to do it. But again, I didn't know anyone that did it. And I didn't think it was a realistic thing. And so then when I finally, then I took kind of like a stand-up seminar. It was just, and I fell in love with it. But I had stage fright issues, I would say, for the first 10 years of my career. Terrified.
I know what that's like. Is it something that you eventually got on pills to help you, meds, or was it something that you just eventually grew out of and just forced your way out of anxiety, or how did you do it?
I think some of it was, I think some of it was just sheer experience of forcing myself to go on stage. But I think some of it was I grew out of it. I don't think that, it would have helped if I had medication. It would have helped a lot. But, and then I think I did a lot of, therapy. I was in group therapy in my 20s, and I did some work on my stuff. My mother died in my early 20s. So that's really what prompted me to not just be compliant and do what I was told to do.
Right.
Is when she died, the injustice of her death, she was 53. I was like, well, then, I don't know what I'm, supposed to do. So that's when I started, I did the improv class. Then I started doing stand-up, and I would do stand-up. And then I did acting classes after work and stand-up after that. And that was and I did that for 4 or 5 years. I mean, I kept my day job for a long time, but I definitely resigned myself to be the uncle that lives in a tiny apartment, because I had no success whatsoever. I thought that I was good, but all my peers, all my friends they were getting sets on Conan or Letterman, and I was not. They would just leave the room when I would go on, because they had seen me when I was really bad. So they were like, he's not good. So
did you want to quit? Were there moments you wanted to quit?
I didn't want to quit. I had to come to the realization that I was not going to have a normal success. I was not going to have monetary success.